Good afternoon. Welcome back to the market recap. I'm John Hoagland, filling in with Dan the Man Hodgman, I should say. Still Wednesday, last day of the quarter, last day of half the year. Hopefully, you had a good trading day. Challenging, narrow ranges. It's okay. Things are changing all the time in these markets. We are coming into the July 4th Independence Day holiday week here, so we may see some muted opportunities, or we may see some liquidity issues make some bigger opportunities for us. Just recapping what happened today, crude inventories came out with a 6.7 million barrel drop. They were looking for about 4.3, if I remember right. A little lower than expected, a little worse than expected. Traders didn't really seem to care much about it, actually. I think they're more focused on what's going on with OPEC. A lot of chatter in the news about if OPEC does not increase production, pretty sharp increase in the price of crude. So you have to keep an eye on that. As far as the minis, S&Ps are concerned, it was a hurry up and wait kind of a day. And then, of course, another new all-time high. NASDAQ, not so lucky. It was more of just a hurry up and wait kind of day. Range trade is different. So many traders do enjoy trending days, trending markets. Of course, the opportunities are bigger. The market goes further, but there's still good opportunity in range trade. Used to be one of my specialties. Gold, a pretty good rejection today of that weekly kickoff low, and repair day we talked about, pretty much what happened and then some. The euro opening range high of the regular trading hour session drove price straight down to weekly kickoff low, where it currently found some support. And the 10-year, last week's high resistance, last week's high was resistance, has now become support, almost to the tick, if not to the tick. As always, make sure you like, share, comment, question, feedback, and heckling are always welcome on the market recap, as well as make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just going to take a kind of a quick look here at the charts. I'm still trying to exercise the demon that keeps taking these away from me. It's embarrassing, and I apologize. But let's get them up here, and let's take a quick look at what happened through the day today. And we should have them back right now. And let's take a look. All right. The daily in crude really has become range bound with the waiting for this new information from OPEC. Didn't seem to really care that much about the drop in crude here. Oops, that's not what I want. I want this. The market really kind of opening, driving lower, back to settlement, back up to the point of control that was left unchecked, back up to it, back down in the 9 o'clock number, and then really just kind of whipping around. This was a really choppy day. The only way to trade a day like today is if you have a correct hypothesis that it's going to range. You got a pretty decent overnight and overnight low and a decent overnight high. We never got to the overnight low. We got back to settlement. How often do we talk about settlement being a good target and perhaps an entry level? It was a great target and entry level today. The market came almost all the way back up to the point of control. Point being is, when we're looking at range trade, the overnight high and low become a little bit more important to us. Basically, overnight high was our high. Overnight low, a little short of that, but we had the settlement right there to look at as a potential target or an entry level. Here's the E-mini S&Ps. We had we were talking about, a little angst in the market, people wondering when's the pullback going to come. It didn't come today. We know we have some structural weakness down below, but that's going to become important when we head down to that direction. 30-minute chart on us now. And here we go. The market opening didn't necessarily, I don't think, leave the low opening range the low of the session. I could be wrong about that. I think I probably am. Opening range low of the session, really just finding balance inside yesterday's area of balance, opening below it, finding acceptance inside of it, trading to the other extreme of balance or value from yesterday, back down to the low of value from yesterday, and a nice push to an all-time new high as we were coming into the close today. It's amazing how resilient these markets are. There is just if you saw the title for today's session, Never Sell a Quiet Market, and it couldn't have been more true in the S&Ps today. We spent a lot of time just hanging around, doing a lot of nothing. We took one look lower, rejected, and now here we are. NASDAQ, same but different, really just kind of rolling right down the alley here, right down the middle. Had some decent volume today. That's an interesting thing there. Another all-time high in the overnight that did not get taken out. Look at how compact this range was for the NASDAQ. I mean, these are small ranges for the NASDAQ. This is a really small range. Let's just make it look bigger. There we go. So, the market opens, ranges, takes out the initial move to the upside, takes out the initial move to the downside, and then it was inside all the rest of the day. There wasn't a decent trend in the NASDAQ that I saw throughout the entire session. Now we've lost our charts, getting those back up, and we'll resume. This is really aggravating, and I do apologize. All right, let's take a quick look at gold. We had a pretty decent move. 2 weekly kickoff low yesterday, rejecting it quickly again. Pretty decent upside move once we took out that opening range. The opening range, again, yesterday was the high of the session. We had a pretty good push down 250 ticks. This morning, opening range is the high of the session, tests below the weekly kickoff low, rejects, and we get another 150, 200 tick move back to the upside. This rejection down here is, perhaps going to be telling us something. The resolve for the buyers down here, it seems to be pretty great. If we have another opportunity down there, there might be some fish down there. Down to the euro really finding its way to weekly kickoff low and last week's low. Here's the 30 opening range. Dead high of the session, driving almost one time framing the entire day, and just a little bit of a dead cat bounce at the end here. Tomorrow it might be an interesting day for us to be focusing a little bit more on the euro because we're at an important inflection level. Last week's low, weekly kickoff low, might be some fish in there. And the 10-year. No real change. Some pretty decent volume in here today. Take a look at the 30. The market opens, leaves the opening range at the high of the session, right back to last week's high, right back to this week's high previous to breaking out above. And that's really where our good trade location came in today, was either on the opening range, covering and getting long at last week's high, and then, kind of a move to the upside here, but no real no real information up there to look for to catch this move back to the downside. The yield. Let's take a quick look. 1.46. So really kind of right where it started this morning. It was 1.45. It's 1.46. Not a huge mover. All right. So sorry if I kind of rushed through those charts there. Just don't want it to take up too much of our time chasing those charts around. Turn everything off and get a good restart tomorrow morning before the forecast. Hopefully we won't have this issue. Got to say hello to everybody. Bill, Norman, good to see you. Jorg, PK, Joshua, and Jason. Tomorrow is a new day, new quarter, start of the second half, so to speak. Absolutely, Jason. If you were at the group coaching session today, I appreciate you being there. I always love talking to traders about trading. It was another good session, and I'll look forward to being back 2 weeks from today for group coaching. I'm going to miss everybody. We're also going to be having the good Dr. Menaker back 2 weeks from today, working on our trading psychology. It always makes me so relaxed when it's 3:15, markets are basically closed, we don't have anything on, we've had a good day, maybe we've had a bad day. The bad days tend to bring the better questions for the good doctor. But I don't want anybody to have a bad day. So just kind of looking through the news, Facebook is considering a serious change to make Instagram more like TikTok. I like this one. Research says your ability to BS might be a sign of intelligence. I must be a genius. OPEC prices could skyrocket if OPEC Plus fails to pledge to deliver more supply. Chip shortages caused Ford to slash vehicle production at several plants in July. So something. Oh, Robinhood is going to be paying $70 million after causing users significant harm. Yale dropped its drama school tuition following David Geffen's $150 million donation. And that's really a lot of folks talking about this Didi app in China. Here's a good thing. Lumber prices dove more than 40% in June. Biggest monthly drop on record. Well. Hey, Dr. VJ. Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm gonna spend some time and in the sun and in the fun with my wife, and it's gonna be nice. It's always good to get away. Always good to get back too. I have a feeling I'm going to miss the markets, and I'm going to miss all of you. What about this day in history? What happened? I haven't even looked at this. In June 30th, 1520, the Spanish begin to retreat from the Aztec capital. What else do we got? 1974, the Soviet dancer Mikhail Baryshnikov defects from the USSR, from the Union of Soviet Socialist Republic, now known as Russia. Now, 1859, Daredevil crosses Niagara Falls on a tightrope. Yikes. 1936, Gone with the Wind published. 1989, Do the Right Thing released in theaters. Yeah, that's about it for that. What about in music? What do you think? What did Led Zeppelin do on this day? Lots of stuff about the Beatles. 1966, the Beatles played the first of three concerts at the Nippon Budokan Hall in Japan. '75, the Jackson 5 announced they were leaving Motown Records for Epic Records. Ooh. 1959, bass guitarist Stanley Clarke was born. '77, Marvel Comics launched a comic book based on the rock group Kiss. Came out today. Nothing too exciting, unless you're into New Kids on the Block. Chet Atkins died in 2001 on this day. Nothing too exciting. Nothing too exciting. Oh, thank you, Dr. VJ. Yeah, how much for a toothpick these days? Sheesh. Boy, you're not kidding. Those lumber prices were awful. I've got a deck on the back of my house, and, I really did not want to neglect that wood this year. Got it all nice and sealed up nice. The real one, isn't it weird that summer volume arrived earlier this year? It used to be at least mid-July. Correct me if I'm mistaken. You never know. And, I don't think that this is indicative of how the entire summer is going to be. There's always August when Europe takes the month off, but they've been kind of taking a month off because of COVID for a while now. Yeah, it's maybe early. I don't know. I still think that there's good opportunity in it. The smaller ranges, range-bound trade, it gives, in my opinion, it gives you the opportunity to trade closer to points of invalidation. In range-bound trade, you get more consistent edges, more consistent extremes, and I think the ability to limit your risk because of that allows you to trade a little bit bigger, because your risk is going to be the same if it was a much bigger market, and your profits aren't going to be as much. So you're going to want to have a little bit more on when the market goes your way. And just a suggestion, because the risk is smaller, you can trade a little bit bigger and hopefully, get some good trades going your way. I'm still not going to be looking to take trades if I can't reasonably and probably expect at least a 2-to-1 reward over risk. So I'm going to be real stingy with my trade locations, and I'm going to trade as close to those points of invalidation as I can to limit that risk. I think there's still some good opportunity here. Dr. VJ, again, thank you very much. It's been a while since I had a little time off, and looking forward to it. My next time off will be in November. Got to go to a wedding down in Tucson. That'll be fun. All right. Well, I think that's all the business we've got to take care of today for the market recap. I know we're all missing Dan. I'll tell them all you said hello, and I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning for the market forecast, and tomorrow afternoon for the market recap. Looking forward to seeing everybody there. Thanks again for joining me today for group coaching, and as always on the forecast and today on the recap. You're all a blessing. Be good to yourselves, be good to others. Stay good, and I will see you in the morning. Have a good night.